Welcome to Cinema Discussions. My name is John. I am joined by Vaughan.
Senior theoretical hoodie experiment correspondent.
Sure. Today we are discussing Morgan, the science fiction horror film directed by Luke Scott in his directorial debut, written by
Luke
Seth
Skywalker?
Owens. Luke Scott, son of Ridley Scott.
Oh.
One of multiple Ridley Scott children. So, that's where you get the sci-fi angle. And
Okay.
all the advertisements were leading up saying, from producer Ridley Scott, because no one knows who Luke Scott is because he's a new guy.
Yeah. This is his first movie?
Yeah, this is his first movie.
Oh, okay.
But I was, from the stories I've heard, it sounds like Ridley definitely had a lot of input on it because being a director or a producer on it.
Right.
So he was kind of hands-on producer with it and helping out his son for the first time. Stars Kate Mara, as well as a slew of other good actors in there as well. Toby Jones, notably, Paul Giamatti. So before we get into the spoilers of the film, let's go with recommendations.
Recommendations.
Yeah.
This is not a heavy sci-fi movie by any stretch. It's no Dune, it's no Blade Runner or anything like that. It's pretty approachable.
Yeah, they've got just the basics of any kind of theoretical science fiction of something that could potentially be possible. It's not
it's
too
kind
far
of
out there.
Fringe-like.
Yeah,
The show Fringe.
Yeah, it kind of, I mean, not as heavy as Fringe gets into.
Yeah,
they get really deep in the stuff, but it's just enough to give you a good horror setup, horror plot device. I mean, thinking of it when I was starting out the film, I immediately started thinking of Ridley Scott's Alien, and other things like that as being a horror film that is based in a sci-fi universe.
Sci-fi background.
The sci-fi is set up so that you can create the horror environment, and that's I think what this has in it, that kind of thing. It's not even as sciencey as something like the one from last year with Alicia Vikander and all the people from Star Wars and Domhnall Gleeson. I'm forgetting the name of the film. All the actors in it. Where the person
do the Google.
All right. As I'm thinking about that, how would you recommend this film?
I don't really see any overall negatives to the movie. I will say one thing: the trailer that I've been seeing for a while, it's a trailer that was in pretty heavy rotation in at least in theaters. The trailer is definitely a bit misleading, like almost deceptive, I might say.
Somewhat. It doesn't necessarily match up to what it is. Ex-Machina is the one I was thinking of. That.
That one.
It's a similar kind of film, but not. That one goes heavier into the science and the theories behind it. And, this one, I think it's really good if you're into that kind of film. If you're into a film like Ex-Machina or Alien, Blade Runner. Any of those things. This is if you're into the theoretical side of those things, and you like a kind of simple horror film in a way that it's not a large scope to anything. It's a small cast, and it's relatively limited to a small location horror kind of film. We've done Don't Breathe recently, which is another small cast in a small place horror film.
People do die in this one.
Yeah,
not any excessive death.
Well, we don't want to go crazy on that stuff, but so
that's not really spoiling anything.
Yeah. But if
they kind of made that clear in the trailer.
If you're into that kind of film, then I think this is a good one to check out. It's not. I don't hold it as high as something like Ex Machina as far as a big staple in the genre. It's not like a Black Mirror or something that. But it's something that is akin to those things. It doesn't quite reach that level of greatness, so it's not one that a lot of people are going to be like, you got to go out and see this movie. But if that's the kind of movie you're into, then this is definitely worth watching, and I think you'll enjoy it. Yeah. So now, spoiler alert. Let's get into it. Spoiler alert. So yeah, as far as dying, a lot of people die. A
Yeah, pretty much everybody actually.
Most everyone of our main characters, one survives.
Yeah.
As far as any characters that get introduced before the last 5 minutes of the film, two survive because there's the person on the phone, and he survives.
Yeah.
And then he talks to another guy afterwards, and there's the person
Yeah.
on the. But aside from that, everyone else gets wiped out. So there's a percentage wise, it's a large death toll on this one. This is one of those where the twist in it I saw from the beginning. Mostly because when it's Luke Scott. I knew that. I knew it's produced by Ridley Scott, but this is the son of Ridley Scott. So you grow up with your father being Ridley Scott, and you're making a movie about. It's not really artificial intelligence. It's artificial life.
It is. I would say she Morgan, the titular character. I would say she is an engineered human.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's bioengineered. So she has synthetic life, but she is organic material. So she's.
I don't think they made it quite clear when. Dr. Zoloff from Civil War. Same actor. Dr. Ziegler, Dr. Zoloff, that guy. I think they kind of missed. Maybe I missed it, or they didn't quite specify. I think they took a fetal human, this girl, and they introduced these little nanomachines into nerve cells.
Yeah. So it's got micro machines. It's got nanobots inside it.
Yeah. So that they're kind of remixing her DNA a bit.
Yeah. So it's engineered.
She grows up very quickly.
Yes. Yeah. Rapid growth.
It has essentially heightened human abilities. Definitely not metahuman abilities.
No, but
she's no X-Man.
Heightened strength and reflexes, things like that, and heightened cognitive abilities to the point of telepathy.
A little bit of probably just brainwave sensitivity. I wouldn't say straight up telepathy.
Well, so they say precognition.
Yeah, which is entirely different.
Yeah, I thought that was misused.
I think that was the wrong word. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. It's like, oh, so she can see the future?
She's not Spider-Man.
Yeah, I don't think. Unless I'm off on what precognition is, I don't think that was the right term for it. But it seemed more like telepathy because she's controlling elements of the room with her mind. The lights and the music she can control with her mind.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they set that up. They said we've engineered the room so that she can control these things with her thoughts. On top of that, every time she meets someone, she knows all about them. So either she's accessing the internet, which is possible. She's got the nano machines in her, and she could have some Wi-Fi built in. She could
plug it right in.
Face recognition, searching the databases and all that stuff. So there's that possibility. Or it's she's looking into their mind and saying, "Oh, I know you. I know now your name and everyone that you're thinking about and your family and all that. I'm looking through your history." And that's what it seemed like she was doing. So it's those. She has those abilities too, which that's another special thing. So, anyway, because it's the son of Ridley Scott, I immediately start thinking of Blade Runner, which makes me think of replicants, which makes me think of the main character not knowing if they're a replicant.
Deckard a replicant?
Exactly. And so
that's the exact thought I had about halfway through the movie.
I got that at the beginning of the film, and yeah, you can pick it up at any moment. They're dropping clues throughout.
Yeah.
But they're subtle clues. But the main thing for me is it was just knowing the director and the producer. Like that's on my mind. So as I'm looking at Kate Mara, I'm just thinking about her. I'm saying, could she be? From the beginning, I'm looking at that and seeing in everything to see that suggests that
she's kind of robot-ish.
Because the answer at the end of the movie is she either is or she isn't. But that question's on the table, and especially when they put her in the cage, and you show her on that side of the glass, then that's one of those other signs where it's like, I think so. But another one is at the dinner table when she talks to the woman who was in Helsinki. And had witnessed
the Chinese woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there was the tragic event that happened in Helsinki with one of their other
Yeah,
They
I was
said
wondering about that. They bring up
almost everyone died there.
They say Helsinki twice.
Yes.
But they never address as to what exactly it was.
The incident. They something like that.
Yeah,
But
dude, that's a missed opportunity right there.
No, I like that. I like that idea because it's setting it up that something horrible went wrong where many of the workers were killed, and it's in a division that is similar to what they're doing here. So all it's saying is this can go horribly wrong, and it will. Yeah. But so they're preparing for that. So that woman talks to Kate as she get her character name, Lee Weathers. Yeah. Talks to Lee, Dr. Cheng. That's who it is. So Dr. Cheng talks to Lee as if she's met her before. But Lee talks to Cheng saying, I don't recognize your face. I don't think I've ever met you before. Yeah. I don't believe we've ever met before.
Conveniently knows how to speak Mandarin.
Yes. But then Dr. Cheng's like, oh, okay. But at first, she clearly recognizes her, and as if they've met before. So it seems like there was a memory wipe at some point. That was a big clue to me that there's something up with that.
Jason Bourne.
So either Dr. Cheng was studying her, or she had met. She could even. I don't think she was. The incident from Helsinki, that would have been, I'm sure they would have terminated that program. But and as they were talking about the model number of Morgan,
L9.
Yeah, the L9. Yeah. So first of all, when you see L9, you're like, all right, clearly there's at least L1 through 8.
There might be. Yeah.
And then aside from that, you have L, so there could also be, A through
other letters.
K. There's any number of potentials for other differentiations from these programs.
Yeah.
So I like the way that they went with it by having it be two competing lines of synthetic humans. As that's what they were saying. They said, the L9s,
which is what's revealed at the end. Yeah, essentially.
So the other, I can't remember what kind of one Lee Weathers is.
L4.
I didn't think it was an L.
I thought it was 4. Yeah, I thought I heard L4.
Right, but it might be. It might be. I thought it was a different letter, but it's at least that could work. But so that series, that model of it, they're going to go forward with making those and no longer make the L9 series. That Morgan was created as a lineup
because Morgan has the nice little bonus prize of having a severe anger problem.
Yeah. Well, no, it's an interesting thing. It's a. Not being able to regulate her emotions easily with that, and they're testing that out by doing that in the psych eval. He's trying to push her to that point to try to replicate the conditions of that initial incident.
Well, that psych scene with Paul Giamatti and his little side role there. That's one of the things that they made. I would say less than ambiguous in the trailer.
Yeah,
because if you watching the trailer, it looks like they're heavily implying that she has telekinesis. Because what really happened is Paul's here. He's making her angry. Like she's on the opposite side of the table. What she actually does is she jumps on the table and then kicks him into the wall.
Yes.
In the trailer, they take out that little part where she's climbing on the table. It's just flying across. Okay. It's like, oh, okay, so we're dealing with a metahuman. It's like, no, that's not the case.
I wasn't paying attention.
That was kind of the big part where I said that made me think that, that's really kind of a deceptive trailer in a way.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not. It's only a slight difference from where she's already at. But I love the scene with Paul Giamatti. I think that was.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of good
fun
scenes in the movie, but I think that's one of the best ones in there of just how you process with emotion and the idea of. So you first begin with him being preoccupied with other things, and he. When they set it up so that he's interviewing from beyond the glass, that line of if she has to be on the other side of the glass, then she's already failed the psych evaluation. Yeah, and
that's how you know So now we know he's gonna die.
Yeah, we know he's gonna die, but it's a great line, a great sentiment of if this person needs to be restrained, okay, psych eval failed. That's pretty clear. I mean, you could still test them without that, but so you start from there, and then just going through the cycles of how people process emotions, especially thinking about it with a teenager dealing with emotions, and they're getting going through puberty and developing different hormones and reacting to those in different ways, and you start dealing with emotions in a different way. Then and trying to understand how you what the appropriate reactions are in any situation. Mm-hmm. So while he's trying to get the thing of like, if I do these set of circumstances, the proper response from you is to be angry. Mm-hmm. Then that's perfectly fine. But as many children would do, or many people would do, if they're being under scrutiny, where there's potentially severe consequences if you don't pass the psych evaluation, mm-hmm. And they're asking you these set of questions, and you're just trying to respond with, "Oh no, I would never hate you in any of those situations." Of course, maybe a little disappointed, but it'll be fine. If that's what you decide, that's your decision. Yeah. Like if I'm saying you're going to be locked in this cage for the rest of your life, that's your decision. Like, and that's what she thinks he wants to hear.
Yeah, it's like we can't give our real reaction, which everybody knows would be the real reaction, because giving this kind of non-committal reaction is seen as more acceptable when it's really kind of not.
No, because
everybody does that
because he knows that she's hiding those emotions.
Yeah.
And so then she's lying about those emotions, and if she's capable of lying about those emotions, then you don't know what she's capable of doing, mm-hmm.
And
the reaction can be more severe. Yeah. Whereas if she had just gone with, I'd be really angry, I'd probably punch you. Go with that.
Yeah. Because you're Paul Giamatti, I'd punch you anyway.
You hold back from the point of, I would kill you. Yeah. But you can... You're rightfully in the amount of ways. And if he said, when he gets to the termination thing, mm-hmm. I would fight for my life in that case because you're threatening my life, and mm-hmm. that would be an appropriate human response to a situation.
Oh yeah.
But they, they have to hide that. So it's a weird thing, because it's not like a Turing test or anything, or even the Voight-Kampff test. This isn't it. The reactions that Morgan was having, or at least the way that Morgan responding to that psych evaluation, was pretty human. The standard thing of trying to save yourself and trying to give the answers that you think that the tester wants to hear.
They wrote that part for her in a pretty interesting way, because she's physically she's 5 years old.
Chronologically.
Yeah.
Chronologically, she's 5 years old.
Literally speaking, she is 5. Because that's how long she's been kind of down there incubating in the experiment.
Yeah.
Physically, she looks like ballpark 18 or 16, 18.
The actress is 20 now, so.
Oh, okay.
From whenever they filmed it.
Okay, yeah. So
she was also in The Witch.
Oh, okay.
Which people call The Witch.
Yeah. So we'll ballpark her 16 to 18. Physically, growth wise. They did a pretty good job of writing her such that this character has a book-based knowledge of what emotions are.
Yes.
What is normal.
Yes.
But her brain doesn't comprehend why it's normal, or what really is normal. Kind of
she
thing.
has as much life experience as a 5-year-old. She has the book smarts of
an adult.
Yeah. And so she's able to get all of that, the information in, but her experience, her actual experience with other people with emotions has been 5 years worth of experience on that. Yeah. And a little more than a 5-year-old would have, I could say too, because if she's got accelerated growth, then she's in those years where you're not, you're forming connections or memories and stuff like that.
Mentally, she's probably, I want to say 10 to 12.
Yeah, or at least her
maybe,
or emotionally. I would say.
Emotionally. Because she's using all the right words: friend, love, all the other stuff. Yeah. As she knows the definitions of these words and kind of what it should feel like. but not what it really is.
And she's generally been treated well for so long.
Overall, yeah.
Yeah.
They did let her out before.
Another great thing that this whole thing brings up is, as I kept thinking about this, was the allegory of the cave, which is, I know there was another movie that we were talking about that I think Berglund brought that up with, but so I was thinking about him and his response to it with it. But which is the allegory of the cave is one of my favorite ever premises, written by Plato, but that whole idea of know everything you know, the shadows on the wall, like
coming from behind you.
And so her entire life she's in this cage, and I think it was Dr. Chang who had mentioned it, which is when you it could have been Paul Giamatti too. I can't remember which character had said it, but it's fine to keep someone in that cage as long as you don't show them what they're missing outside. I can't remember the exact line that they used. It was a beautiful analogy that they had said, and I'm saddened that I can't remember the line because I just remember it was impactful and it was a good analogy. But to
the DVD.
Exactly. But as long as what that means is just that if someone is kept in whatever place they're kept in, it's to an outsider observer, it's still cruel to keep them in that space. But if that's all they know, Room was the movie I was thinking of too. I don't know if you saw that.
The really bad one?
No, the good one. The Academy Award nominated one.
Okay.
Not The Room.
Okay.
Room.
Okay.
Room, which is it's a story about a little boy and his mother kept in this small room. But the boy was born in that room and grew up in that room and only knows that room. So to him, that is the world. The entire world is that room.
Yeah. It's all he knows. He just kind of accepts it.
Yeah. And so that's what you think of with this. And if Morgan just knew that room, that'd be it. Now, Morgan was let outside and shown the outside around that compound and now knows that world is that big. And that was fine to a point. That gets Morgan outside, gets her exercising, learning all that stuff. Except that then you got the one woman,
the behaviorist, right?
Yeah.
She starts telling her the story about the lake.
Yeah, that was the wildling girl from Game of Thrones. I just recognize it from the whole movie. I was looking at it, I'm like, I know that one from somewhere. It was from Game of Thrones.
I haven't gotten into that.
She also popped up in The Last Witch Hunter. Anyway, so she tells her about the lake and the river, and so as soon as Morgan hears about that, she's like, yeah, I'd love to go there. And everyone else is like,
yeah,
why would she do that? She's not supposed to go out further. And now this is the first time that you've restricted her from something. You said you can't have this.
Yeah.
Everything else she was able to have, from all that we were showing, she was able to have everything that she knows about.
And now you've told her no.
Yeah, and so she didn't know how to respond to that, and she had the outburst with it.
With Kathy?
Yeah, with Kathy.
The first lady, yeah.
From Hateful Eight, Jennifer Jason Leigh.
That's what I was trying to remember. I couldn't tell it because of the bandage on her eye.
Yeah. Well, specifically with the bandage on her eye reminded me of Hateful Eight, because her character in that. At points throughout the film, it was very reminiscent of that.
Okay.
So she attacks her, and that's the inciting incident for the whole thing. But it's that problem of her just telling her about the lake there. As soon as she knows what she's missing, now it's an issue. But if she hadn't known that, then it all would have been fine. You can't keep people in cages if they know they're in a cage.
Yeah,
that's the problem there. There's so many things like that I like about this film, because it's it shows you get to question about psychological development. You get to question about confinement and worldviews like that, and then the other thing is the ethics of synthetic life, and it's not a full robot, and there's still the side where there's a lot of people when they talk about artificial intelligence that will start talking about robot rights. I was just hearing someone talk somewhere about some influential person. They said, "What do you feel about robot rights?" I think it was a politician, a current politician. They're like, "No, don't believe they have rights." But then like they start thinking about it, and it's a thing that once if it's a sentient being and it's just inorganic material, and it starts to get to an ethical point there where if you're mistreating them, and I'm always, because I know that robots are going to eventually overtake us all, so I've been a supporter of robot rights from the beginning. I give them full rights. You just always treat your robots nicely.
Like, all hail our robotic overlords.
I absolutely love BattleBots. I love watching it. But the second that they make sentient artificial intelligence, I do not want to watch BattleBots. Because then now you're just watching, I don't even like watching boxing because it's two sentient people beating up on each other. And I know they're both in on it, but I was beat up enough in school that it gives me flashbacks to that. I'm like, this is not good. I do not like this.
Oh dear.
So yeah, even if the sentient robots wanted to fight, it's still a thing of like, those are thinking creatures that are getting hurt there. Anyway, it's same with like chicken fighting or any of those things. There, when it's a sentient being, it's tough to do that. So this one is kind of a way to think about that stuff with a kind of link between humans and robots.
Yeah, there's that gray spot.
Yeah,
they're engineered, but they're still mostly human.
The company,
I guess,
is adamant on referring to them as objects. They say they refuse to say she. They say it. Like, this is a product. This is an item. This is not a human being. Do not think of Morgan as a human being. And to everyone else that has watched Morgan grow up and all the people that have worked there, every single one of them, they cannot separate her from a human being because they've witnessed her. They're like, no, she's a human being. She's something different, but she's not. She's not, as they keep asking her, like, are you better than us? Are you superior? I said, no, I'm just different. I'm different than a human being. I'm not quite a human being, but I'm different. But it's still like you couldn't work with Morgan and not think of Morgan as human. That's to treat Morgan like an object is the same. It's that kind of slavery thing. The same mentality that slave owners had of looking at their slaves as property, as not a human. And it's just like when you look at it, you're like, how can that not be a human?
Well, to her benefit, she has the bonus of still looking very much human on the outside.
Yes.
That kind of bringing up the whole uncanny valley thing. That the more an object starts to look human, the more we get freaked out.
Yeah, and
until you can't tell. That's how that works.
And in Ex-Machina, they have
so the android thing. Versus like an engineered human is going to be a big mental disconnect for a lot of people. Yes,
and I think that it's going to be a hard thing because you get as it starts lessening from you have a human, then you have the rubbery kind of skin stuff like the ones in Japan that they've got now with the emoting faces that look really weird.
Oh yeah.
And then you can go back to like a C-3PO style and then an R2-D2 style. Like, at what point do different people not think of it as a living creature? But to me, if it has awareness and it has sentience, then it can look like a toaster. But if it's a sentient toaster, I'm gonna listen to its needs and be like, I'm tired. I don't want to make another piece of toast today, and I'm not gonna force it to make a piece of toast. I'm gonna get my old non-sentient toaster out and use that one. I don't want to have a sentient toaster.
Yeah, you see this? You could be replaced that easily.
Yeah,
it's like, quit your bitching and make my bagel.
So that's the kind of thing. Like, you can't.
So they have to be kind of like on a Data level from Star Trek.
Well,
maybe.
Well, Data has enough sentience that Data looks human enough, so people are still going to treat that like a human enough. There's still going to be lots of people who will buy a android unit like Data and use it as their servant and stuff. but the kind of thing of it's the thing of it's the owner of that item who's going to be really pissed off when their friend comes over and start teaching it about human rights and all the things it can have, and be like, you shouldn't be treated like this. And then it starts, they start unionizing. And the guy's like, damn it, you ruined my toaster. But it's it's that thing of right now we have the ability to create life by having two humans get together and create life that is just like them. But it's the question of how different is that when you are building it out of parts. And when you get to the point where we're able to build a microchip that is able to have awareness and cognitive abilities that are level to a human, like Watson or Siri or any of those. I mean, Watson's a little more highly evolved than that, where it at least mimics it's getting close to passing the Turing test. It's not quite there yet. I mean, you can have chatbots that pass the Turing test, but it's not in person. Like it's still not there. But still to the point where it seems like it could be aware, but it's not really aware. But once you get to that point where they are aware, then it's just all the others start coming in play. So I think this movie did a good job of it presented that stuff in this way where you're still having an organic being there, but still bringing up the issues where I think it's a little easier for people to, you could say that it's propaganda for artificial intelligent life rights, for robot rights, because in a way that
but she's not really a robot or an android.
I know, but she's synthetic life and she's engineered in a way. So, but it's the thing of it's on the spectrum of things when you're going towards an android and towards a full-on robot. If you make a movie like Ex-Machina or things or Bicentennial Man or any of those where you've got, or AI even, where you have a full-on robot. There are still a lot of people who are going to look at that and say it's a piece of machinery. It doesn't deserve those rights. But when you do this
like the Terminator also.
Yeah.
Living. Yeah, it was living tissue, but just on a robot body.
On a robot. So so there's still going to be people on the other side of the fence with that one. Whereas this one, you were able to present the side of the people who are still treating this like an object, as the government just treating it like a piece of property. But this one's so close to human, it's just barely different from a normal human being that audiences are going to side with Morgan on it. They're going to side with the rights of the synthetic life. And it's easier for more audiences, for more people viewing this to be on that side than with something like Terminator. That's something that is less human. But it's that sliding scale thing. It's like that PETA advertisement. Where do you draw the line? It's like normal society. What was this one? The exotic animals.
Normal society, like pets. It's like survival necessity and apocalypse. That one picture.
That was a good picture. But yeah, it's you gotta make the line somewhere at some point. But I think this is a good one that's treating that about. And even if you stop looking at it from a science fiction sense of what could a potential future look like if we had synthetic life or anything, it still can also go back to the idea of racism and the idea of any type of thing where you put one human over another.
All the isms.
Yeah, all the isms. Any time that you're putting one type of human over another type of human, this is that kind of look where there's been throughout history there have been any number of people when they that they look at someone and say they're not human. I was just watching a thing on History Channel, Dan Harmon's Great Minds with Dan Harmon, where he gets time travel, takes people throughout history and gets to talk to them. He was talking to Idi Amin, who was talking about all the people that he killed, and he said, "Oh, they weren't people." And it's that thing, as soon you stop looking at them as people, and horrible things can come of that when you stop looking at someone.
It becomes easier to do horrible things.
Yeah. And so that's what this film shows. And like any great sci-fi, it's showing a message about humanity presented in this science fiction way. So I think that's beautiful that they did that with it. And then just having to take out everyone in there because they're all connected to it. You can't have witnesses.
Gotta keep a secret.
The one guy was almost safe. The last guy.
The cook.
Yeah. He was so close because she's like, "Come on, let's go."
It's like you had your chance.
It's like, but how could you? All right, no, all right,
that's it.
There, you gotta be taken out because you're gonna raise a stink. And
all
you're
right,
gonna start...
fucking A, I gave you a chance.
Mm-hmm. But you can't have anyone like going to the media afterwards. Just had to clean it all up.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was always still a chance of because it's a new synthetic life. When she shot Morgan and the body's floating there, I kept waiting for like the eyes to open up or something. Like we don't know how
might possibly have healing abilities.
I don't know her regenerative abilities. This is a new life that I haven't seen before. So I was waiting for that, but it didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, it's possible if you can change somebody's metabolism to run so high. It'll look like they have like Wolverine healing when their body is just working faster.
Yeah, she's already growing up faster, so it would make sense that the healing would also be at least 4 times as fast. Yeah. So you've got you mix that with a smart nanobot infused body that if you are shot in this organ over here, if you're shot in a way that something else can make up for what that's doing. Your body's smart enough to be like, all right, switch power to this one, stop blood flow over here.
Just over time, the nanobots will start repairing the cells.
Yeah, so it does that while it's switching power and stuff like that. Like,
maybe.
Anyway,
but it's at the same time, most nanobot kind of stories like that. If you shoot somebody in the brain, that's it.
Yeah, well, that's just the dumb thing is you got to have backup brains.
Yeah,
and if you've got if I'm building a robot, first things first, you can have a brain there, but you're definitely going to have backup brains throughout the body, and then it's cloud backed up too.
Yeah,
because like you do the same thing with your computer. If you just have your one hard drive that's not backed up anywhere, and then like that's just dumb. You shoot.
Yeah, that's your own fault.
That's as dumb as humans were designed, where you could just shoot the brain and it's worthless. Like it'd be better if we had a backup somewhere else. It's like, oh no, my brain's damaged. I'm gonna wait for that to heal while I'm using my backup brain.
Yeah. One of the other like sci-fi things. Somebody has nanobots all in their body. The nanobots are all wirelessly connected to each other, and making the swarm themselves like a cloud. A cloud computer.
Yeah. If they're not networked, then that's just dumb.
Yeah.
Any things you didn't like about this movie? Any things that bugged you about it?
I don't have not really anything majorly negative. I think they probably could have gone a little better in some places.
I think that too, and it's something that you can't really. I don't know how to put into words exactly. But
it doesn't have that one last little spark to make it a really memorable movie.
Yeah.
It's no Blade Runner.
Definitely.
True.
Yeah,
but I think it'll stick around.
Yeah, I think it can. And the more I talk about it, I feel better about the movie, and I feel like it could earn a space on my mantle. I still haven't purchased Ex-Machina to stand on my stand, but that's one that I want to put on there. That's
I would be interested in getting this to hear the commentary.
It could stand next to it, I think, definitely. And it would be good to pair along with it because I really like. These issues and synthetic life and artificial intelligence in those ways. And so because it's not a full-on robot, I'm not as into it. But because as soon as I saw them like being birthed and stuff and growing up as a baby, I'm like, oh, that's dumb. That's the cheater way of creating life because you're just using the stuff we already have to build it. They didn't put the work in as much to create it,
I would probably buy this to get the commentary.
Yeah, I'd love to.
I kind of like to know what Luke was really going for some of these things.
I think the main thing that this shows me is I'd love to see more from Luke Scott.
Oh yeah. This is not a bad first movie.
No, I think
it's not at all.
And I mean, that's the thing. He was raised on the right environment. This is You talk about privilege or anything.
Yeah.
This isn't your normal first time director. This guy had everything in place for it.
Privilege trigger.
Because it's like this is like watching a new Ridley Scott film, and a like if this was a new Ridley Scott film, I'd be super pleased with it because looking at some of his,
it would make up for Prometheus almost.
Exactly, and I still enjoyed things in Prometheus. I like a lot of elements of it. Any good sci-fi.
Not to go off too far on a tangent, I was listening to a podcast not long ago, and they were talking about movies that could have been saved with like one minor fix. It came up in the course of that discussion. The guy who actually wrote the script for Prometheus, what turned into Prometheus, that guy. I forgot his name. I forgot his name. He's got a weird name.
There are a couple of people that wrote on it, but I'm guessing it's not.
He wrote this very early screenplay before the other guy got his hands on it to turn it into Prometheus.
Because John Spates,
that's it. Yeah, his original screenplay.
Okay, because Damon Lindelof did the rewrites.
Far superior to what the other guy came up with, what the other guy rewrote.
I'll have to look into that because I heard Damon Lindelof's side of things. I heard him on a podcast talking about what he did with it, but I'd love to hear.
What Prometheus could have been was so much better.
Yeah.
Especially when some of the major holes in Prometheus that were specifically addressed in that early screenplay.
But yeah, I mean, Ridley Scott just did The Martian, which is a great one too, and
Martian was good.
Yeah. So he's been doing good stuff, but this is one of those where it's thought-provoking sci-fi that I love the small scale of it, and while big Blade Runner things are great, just having something that's a simple enough story that you don't have to go so wide scope and having to get a lot of in-depth stuff about space travel and all of this that bogs it down a little bit. So I like the good simplicity of it. And on the other hand, like to see what Luke Scott does with a bigger budget and a larger film.
Oh yeah.
This one was a budget of $8 million.
That's pretty low.
Pretty low. However, marketing and such, it's made $4.2 million. So it's actually the last couple weekends have been really low for box office in general. But yeah, 4.2. Yeah, 4.2
it's the end of summer.
Yeah, 4.2 is not good for any movie.
No.
But an $8 million budget, like if it were a $30 million budget and it made $4, that would be
that would hurt
really bad. But so it's made half of its money back so far. It's got potential that I'm pretty sure it can make.
I think it came
10.
out at the wrong time.
I think it can make at least $10 million, which will make its money back. But maybe with aftermarket sales, it might be able to get that in a foreign distribution. I could probably not be a loss for them at least, which will be good. It should be able to make a profit to the studio. The question is with advertising.
Yeah, they probably could have given it a better date.
Yeah. I mean, like going back to Ex-Machina, that one came out in the beginning of the year, and which is normally where they dump terrible films.
Yeah, January, February are for bad movies.
Yeah, so I'm sure they could have released it there, and people wouldn't have seen it because they would assume it's terrible. But you also there's every so often there's some gems in there that you find that I'm very pleased about. So actually, I think Ex-Machina came out in April because it came out the same time of year, March or April, because it was the same time of year that Cabin in the Woods came out. And that time of year, there's always something that's like really great that comes out. It's like original.
The little underground hit.
Yeah, the underground original stuff that comes out there that it does well at the festivals, and then they release it right around that time.
Okay.
Because it doesn't get overshadowed by the big blockbuster stuff. Anyway, so I'd like to see more people seeing this. And if you've gotten this far into the video, you've probably already seen the movie. And based on the box office, that means not many people are going to watch this video. If it's only made $4 million, that means there's not a lot of people who've seen this movie. So congratulations for watching, Morgan. I hope. Yeah. I'd love to hear what you.
They've stuck with us for this long.
Yeah. So I'd love to hear what you thought about the movie too. Put it in the comments or write to us. Let us know because I'd love to hear that too. Star ratings on this.
Oh yeah, final star rating.
Yeah. I gave it 3.5 on after and when I walked out of the theater, because I rate them then, which is a little soon to do it, but I like what's fresh in my mind.
Yeah, first impressions.
Yeah, so first impressions was a 3.5 on this one. After the discussion, I'd be willing to go up to a 4 on it. It's still missing that 5 space. It doesn't have the special stuff in there. But I think there's a lot of good stuff in there. So yeah, between 3.5 or a 4.
Yeah, I'll agree with 3.5 too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a great, good film. I know I definitely wanted to at least give 3.5 when I walked out of it, because I'm like, that's a positive on Rotten Tomatoes, and since I'm rating it on their app,
Oh yeah,
I wanted to make sure it added to the positive audience score, because this is definitely good. It should be seen, but it's not the great thing that is out there. So yeah, I think definitely good. All right, thank you so much for watching. That's all we get. Bye.